Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the qualifying watch-along for the 2025, where are we? Spanish Grand Prix, there we go. How are we all doing this afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world? Sorry for a slight delay there. Having some issues with multi-viewer today. I think it is just a live timing replay issue, so it should be okay for the timing itself, but just be aware I've been faffing with that, so sorry I'm a little bit late, but I'll be here for the qualifying. That's the most important thing, and for a good while afterwards as well, so we can discuss it all properly. Let's have a few shout-outs and just quickly refresh the stream so that we are all as in sync as you ever are on YouTube. Let's have a look at what you're all saying in chat before we get going today. Poll up as usual, asking the obvious question. Who do you think is going to take pole? McLaren, Red Bull, Ferrari or Mercedes? We'll get onto that in just a moment. But hey to Alfie, to Lee, to Mark, to Pascal as well. Hey Annette, hope you're well over there in Australia, mate. They are, just for you. Hey Craig, Baxter's good, thank you. Hope Lenny's okay. Baxter is asleep on a sofa sulky. He's been poorly for a couple of days, but he seems to be okay today, so causing chaos as usual. Hey RC, hope you well, mate. Hey to Mark, to Jithu, to Kevin as well. Hey Kevin, hope you're doing all right, mate, and excited for the Constructors title battle for the rest of the season. I will never let that go. I will never let it go. Yeah, interesting day. We'll run through the FP3 timings for you. Of course, coming into this weekend, big story is this new technical directive, the talk of these flexi wings going from being able to flex 15 millimeters to 10 millimeters. It's all going to change the pecking order. Bear that in mind. Oscar Piastri topped FP3 by half a second over Lando Norris, and Charles Leclerc was third, a further 2 seconds further back. So it really has made all the difference. It is only practice, I know, but come on. Yeah, Russell fourth, Max Verstappen fifth, 9/10 off the McLarens, but Sky seemed to think there's more pace in there. I wasn't really paying much attention to FP3. It was one of the most boring FP3 sessions I have ever watched, and that says something because they're pretty dull anyway, aren't they? So I have it on good faith that there were at least one journalist asleep in the media room. It was that thrilling. Yeah, Max Verstappen fifth, Isaac Hadjar sixth with Antonelli in seventh. Fernando Alonso up there in eighth place, who will absolutely score points this weekend. If I have to go and hand them out myself, he's getting some. Lewis Hamilton ninth, Liam Lawson 10th, both the Racing Bulls looking good again. Bortoleto 11th, Hulkenberg 12th, Sainz 13th, Tsunoda down in 14th, Stroll 15th, Gasly 16th, Colapinto 17th, Ocon 18th, Albon 19th, and Bearman in 20th. And what I think has been largely a fairly uneventful weekend so far. So I'm hoping it's the calm before the storm. Unless you guys have got a story from FP1 or FP2 that really blew you away, or I'm forgetting some major incident. I don't think we've had much really kick off. Yeah. If you caught the F2, by the way, what a finish there. That's definitely worth watching if you haven't. That was fantastic. What an end to that race. No spoilers, I promise. It was just that good. So, yeah, bit of a flat FP3. Felt very typical Spain. This is a track, as I said in the preview, that will highlight the strengths of strong cars and the weaknesses of weak cars. It's one of those. That's something I'd take from, I think, David Richards from back in the Benetton days. He used to say that quite a bit. So, it's one of those tracks. There's so much data from here. They did so much testing. They all know it so well. We tend to get a bit of a Noah's Ark grid as well, don't we, here? So hopefully that's not the case there. It mixes up a bit. But McLaren, so far, looking very strong. They topped FP1 with Lando Norris, topped FP2 with Oscar Piastri, and then 1-2 here in FP3. So, yeah, it's this whole technical directive thing, which I did say on Thursday and I have been saying for the last few weeks, will probably come to nothing. Looks at this stage of the weekend like it's come to nothing, but I'm fully aware that in an hour and 15 minutes time, if we end up with a Ferrari, a Red Bull and a Mercedes locking out the top three, then we were wrong. But yeah, at the moment, looking good for McLaren. I see some people saying they're sandbagging, but why? Is my first question. Is it's not testing. I don't know why we'd be sandbagging at this stage of the season, but here we are. So people will make that point. Let's see what you guys say. Yeah, I mean, tell me if you were really thrilled by FP3, let me know. We'll be interested to see what you guys are saying on that one. Just checking a couple of things. Still waiting for the I mean, it's on the screen, isn't it? So you can see what the FP3 results is. So that's all that matters for now. We'll check in shortly and see what's going on. Pascal says Sauber's update seems to be working. Nico was happy last night. That's a good sign. Yes, Sauber looked quick today, 11th and 12th. So good stuff from them. Would be good to see them get a point. I think I put in as one of my bold predictions they might both make Q2, which seemed unlikely. But actually, on that pace, you never know. It'll be interesting to see. It's a good track, Spain, for gathering as close to a definitive pecking order as we're going to get. It's just one of those circuits. So this is the one that I mean, I always look forward to Spain for that reason every year. We say it in testing a lot, don't we? We talk about how we need to wait for Spain and see what's going on there before we know what the pecking order is going to be. This should give us a really good idea. Because we can talk about McLaren being the dominant force, we can talk about Red Bull being second or Ferrari, but it does seem to change with every weekend, particularly behind McLaren. So we might get a bit more of an idea this weekend where everyone is at. So getting rid of the flex wing has made McLaren faster, says Kevin. Well, McLaren haven't even bought a new front wing this weekend because I think they introduced it. Was it Imola? They bought a new front wing because they weren't going to test it in Monaco because nobody tests anything in Monaco, so why would you? So I think it's that. So I don't think there's anything. It is technically a new front wing, I think. I might be wrong. Let me know. I've not checked in with Thomas yet. He'll let you know in any roundups on socials later, I'm sure. But I think it is the one they introduced at Imola that they tested in practice and then bought it here. But yeah, you might have some more info on that with me. I've not really kept up on the technical updates because there's quite a few of them. I've had all sorts going on. So who is this Oscar lad? Seems quite good, says Alfie. Yeah, he's all right. He's doing fine. I mean, he's only top of the drivers' championship at the moment. So yeah, there you go. Be good to see him take the title this year. It really will. Like as I said before, first Aussie since Alan Jones take the title will be fantastic. It's been a long time, too long. I'm sure Annette will argue in the chat for sure. So yes, I'm up for this one. I am excited for it. It is Spain. I know Spain isn't always the most thrilling, but it seems better now. We've got rid of that crappy little chicane. Is that Robert Lewandowski in the Red Bull garage there? Because you all needed to know that, so I thought I'd let you know. It's the most important thing of the weekend, of course. If he's looking for a club, well, I know one that needs a striker quite badly. So, you never know. You never know. Too long between drinks. It has indeed, and it absolutely has. So yeah, I'm up for this one, but I'm also looking forward to Canada in a couple of weeks. Canada is, as I've said, 300 million times over the last few. It looks like multi-viewers kicking in. There we go. Over the last few years, it's one of my favourite tracks on the calendar. I absolutely love Montreal. Could be a home Grand Prix if things go the way I want them to, but there you go. Anyway, we are about, 12, 13 minutes away from the start of Q1. So if you've got any questions, throw them in now. I did want to go over something, actually, which I think is really important. I've got some notes here just because it's got the official line. And so if I appear to be reading something, it is off the top of my head, but I'm just reading the official lines as well. So big question coming into this weekend for me, and I think for a lot of people should be, is Fred Vasseur in trouble at Ferrari? So, if you didn't know the news, according to a report from German media, Ferrari approached Christian Horner with a view to appointing him as their new team principal. Now, we at planetf1.com understand this story is accurate, but Horner, who is under contract with Red Bull until 2030, remains committed to the team and has no interest in moving. In fact, if you caught the team principal press conference, he made a slightly jokey comment about how his Italian is about as good as Flavio Briatore's English, so he wasn't sure he'd fit in at Ferrari. So that was quite a funny way to dismiss it, but there you go. It has been dismissed, and whilst it has been sort of pushed away by Horner and all gone a bit quiet as a result, surely that big question has got to be why the approach in the first place, and has Fred Vasseur got something to be concerned about? Because Ferrari don't tend to go sniffing around other team principals unless they're not happy with something. And look, I think in Fred Vasseur's defence, he's done a good job since joining Ferrari. And don't forget, the team only just missed out painfully on the Constructors' Championship last year, their first since 2008. And he's been massively credited, rightly so, with reviving the team, particularly when it comes to the in-race operation, which was in desperate need of a change. And he's certainly done that. The problem is, I suppose, some of the old in-race mistakes are starting to rear their head again, aren't they? And, things like odd strategy calls and poor communication, that's going to start to put concern throughout the team, particularly towards the top end. So I can see why maybe there's some concern there, and why people might say maybe he's not turned around the fortunes of the in-race team as much as we thought, because those mistakes are still there. the thing as well is that the car is also, and I don't think this is controversial, way off the pace of the McLarens for the most part. And the team's form this season has been underwhelming, I'm going to go with, and that's to say the least, I suppose. But they are a long way off where they need to be, and a long way off where they are expected to be. I mean, it's not quite as bad as, say, 2020, for example. It's not that low, but they're not where everyone expects them to be. And given their lack of patience with team principals in the past and the pressure that comes from the top of the business, as well as the fans and the Italian media too, for that team to be successful, Fred Vasseur surely needs, at the very least, to be looking over his shoulder now. And that Horner approach, even though he said no for now, that's the key thing in Formula One, no for now, that's going to put even more pressure on arguably the most high-pressure team boss job in Formula One. I'm a little bit concerned for Fred Vasseur's future, and I'm surprised more people aren't asking the question, why did you approach Christian Horner? Now, we've not actually heard from Fred Vasseur yet, as I sit here and say this. Maybe after qualify we'll hear something, but it might get completely dismissed. But I would be concerned if I was Fred Vasseur. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, I'm talking about this as a Ferrari fan in Mercedes gear. I perfectly appreciate that's a little bit weird, but I think it's a bit odd that why would you approach Christian Horner unless you intend to make a change? Do you know what I mean? Why would you start flirting, for want of a better word, with other team principals if you're 100% happy with the direction the team is going in and you're happy with your team principal? Unless they're thinking of moving Fred Vasseur somewhere else in the organisation where they think he might be more useful to them. I don't know, but it's just very odd to me. And I know Ferrari have always kind of had this link to Horner, and there's always been questions in the past. I think he was lined up to be Binotto's replacement, wasn't he, in 2022? And then they went with Vasseur when Horner said no. So maybe it's just a hangover from that, or they're desperate to get hold of him. I don't know why, but that's where we're at. Because what I will say is that if you are Ferrari and you're concerned about the direction the car's going in, because it's not competitive really, is it? I mean, they might take pole today and shut me up instantly, but they're not where everyone expects them to be. But if they're concerned the car isn't competitive and they think Christian Horner is the answer, the only thing I would say to that is he may well be from a man management point of view, but although he doesn't build the cars, without Max Verstappen, that Red Bull is a bad car. Max Verstappen is dragging that thing around, some fantastic results. That car, I believe, is probably a little bit quicker than, Tsunoda, Lawson, Perez were managing, but it's certainly not one of the best cars on the grid in the hands of, with respect to those drivers, more drivers that aren't to the level that Verstappen is at. So I think putting Christian Horner as the answer is a little bit odd to me, especially given recent developments in his life, let's say. Not sure that's the way Ferrari should be going, but I don't think Fred Vasseur deserves to be under this. He deserves to be under pressure because he's the Ferrari boss. Ferrari bosses are always under pressure, but I don't think he deserves to be being questioned for his future right now. I don't think he's done a bad job, really. He came in after Binotto. It's not, you can't really count the first season because that's never really that new team principal's car. So in the couple of years that he's had the team kind of working his way, they nearly won the Constructors' Championship. And all right, they've had an up and down start to the season, but they've grabbed a couple of podiums. They won the sprint and, big rule change on the horizon. Why would you go, rocking the boat now? But Fred Vasseur certainly needs to get on top of some of the issues there with the communication, the frustrated drivers. He needs to start sorting out, strategy calls starting to go wrong. I get all of that, but I don't think Fred Vasseur has been. When you look at Arriva Bene or Binotto, you can pinpoint points where you sort of go, yeah, that was bad. That's not great. They need to work there. There are areas like that for Vasseur, but nothing that really sends the alarm bells ringing for me. And then all of a sudden this Horner approach, and you sort of think, hang on a second. Why? What's going on? So, look, for all I know, and for all you know, Fred Vasseur may be considering retirement at the end of the year, and that is why Ferrari have made the approach now. It may well be that they want to move him into a different role within the team or the organisation. It could be that. It might be he's been offered a job somewhere else. But if it's based purely on his performance, I don't think Fred Vasseur should be on the brink of any kind of dismissal or anything like that, because I think he's doing okay. He's not been spectacular, but he's doing okay, and it's only 9 races into this season, for God's sake. And like I say, nearly so nearly won the Constructors' Championship last year. First since 2008, not won a driver's title since 2007, for goodness sake. So yeah, I mean, what do you think? before we get into quality, we've got 6 minutes to go. Just let me know what you think, and then we'll see. Yeah, I mean, Annette says he's doing enough. I think that's kind of it. I don't think he's doing a bad job. It's not been spectacular this season, but we've certainly seen worse, and that car isn't in a great spot, which Fred Vasseur, whilst the manager, if you like, and the buck stops with him, he's not built the car, has he? So, yes, that's a good point, Fud. Fred is a nice guy. F1 doesn't like nice people. True. I don't believe McLaren has stopped its flexi wings. I bet it's still flexing, says F1 Hub to the world. Wings will always flex. Will always flex, for sure. It's about minimising that and staying within certain parameters, I guess. But that was all. That was just my ramble about Fred Vasseur. Sorry. Ferrari hoping that the technical directive coming into play would mean they could go back to losing races because of strategy rather than lack of pace, says Mark. I think Horner is in there as soon as Lewis is gone, says Moray. I have always said, to be fair, I've said this before, go back to my pre-YouTube days when I had a really rubbish blog that nobody ever read. I predicted back, I think it was 2015, that Christian Horner would be at Ferrari by, I think I said about 2016. I was wrong, obviously, but I think there's always been a little link there, and I think that could happen. I think sinking all his money into Lewis has hurt Fred, says Moray. It wasn't Fred's decision, though, was it? Was it John Elkann who made that call? I mean, Fred would have had to have had a say in it. Of course he would have done, but I think the Lewis Hamilton situation is a wider conversation, so we might do that over the weekend, or maybe a video out of that one, I don't know. But yeah, it's Ferrari, says Michael. Very true, very true. I do think higher ups at Ferrari are always interfering with the team's operation, says Kevin. Maybe, mate, maybe. Ferrari's always been peaky. You don't get known for running 27-28 or 11-12 because the cars are good. And do you think there's any crazy? We're getting silly. I tell you, remind me of that CPB after the qualifying session. We're just about to kick into that now, and then we'll. Thanks, Annette. We will discuss silly season afterwards. Annette says your predictions have always been rubbish. Then have they, Sean? Yeah, pretty much. Although I'm going to say this while I set up the stream, while I get the timing and everything ready. My predictions have always been bad. Always. But, there's always a but in my defence, I did a video, back in 2018, asking when will Max Verstappen become world champion. I urge you to go and watch that. Whilst I couldn't have ever predicted, because nobody could have done, how he became world champion, and the events of that day, let's say, or that evening, I did say Max Verstappen would win a world championship in 2021, would be his first title. So I am crap with predictions, but I got that one right, and I will always be very happy with that one. And sometimes with predictions, I a bit like Eddie Jordan sometimes, I'll get them right eventually. I'll say this will happen next year, and then 3 years later it will happen, but I wasn't right at the time, but I was right eventually. So there you go. For example, Fernando Alonso will score points this season, so I will be right eventually. That's for sure if I keep saying it. So there you go. Just realised who's Sky having in the box today. Who have we got? Oh, for God's sake. Right, fine. As always, I'll say it right at the start this time of these for anyone tuning in. No on-track footage for obvious copyright reasons. Again, don't know why it needs explaining, but it does. You can't just take other people's footage and use it as your own, unfortunately. If I could, I would. And until someone donates £1 billion, there's nothing I can do about it. So there we go. Need to buy the rights from FOM. Live timing is provided by the awesome folks over at Multiviewer for F1. Thank you to those guys. As always, stream isn't sponsored, but nice to give them a shout out because they have done us a favour with helping us out with that one. So really appreciated by or from those guys. You can follow the links in the description if you want to set up your own multi-viewer stream. It is free, but you will need not an F1 Plus, what's it called? F1 TV subscription, either Access or Pro, which Access is pretty cheap if you can afford it. I think £2.29 in the UK, and you can customise your stream to have as much or as little data as you would like. So yes, very much ready for qualify. Thank you to those guys as always. More F1 timing the better, says Craig. I agree. Don't even look at the action, just look at the numbers. Why not? Which is basically what the Monaco thing was. It was basically timing a screen and pit stop watching, wasn't it? Which was not what we wanted from that. So although apparently F1, as I said in the video on Tuesday, and as has been kind of reiterated this weekend, seem quite happy with the overall reaction to it. I've not seen anything positive, but I didn't see anything but positive about the sprints, and they're still here, so there we go. Apparently still on the cards for next year. So I do just need to get this in sync a little bit better, though. So just do that now. There we go. Cars at the end of the pit lane. 18 minutes, 15 minutes, and 12 minutes your three sessions. So we've got cars at the end of the pit lane for not FP1, qualifying one in Spain. Let's see what you guys said for poll. I'll keep the poll open until the end of Q2. Somebody remind me in case I forget. At the moment, 71% of you expecting a McLaren pole, not a Ferrari pole. 16% Red Bull, 13% Ferrari. Not a single vote has gone on Mercedes. So you guys really are not expecting much from them as Franco Colapinto, Esteban Ocon and Ollie Bearman head out onto the track. My prediction for pole, get yours in if you want as well. For now, we'll come back to those a little bit later. But I think I'm going to stick with my Verstappen pole. No, I didn't say Verstappen pole, did I? Who did I say for pole on Thursday? That is an excellent question. I don't even remember. The thing is, I say so much these days, usually all nonsense, and I can't bloody remember what I say. I went with Leclerc for pole. And Verstappen for the race win. So I'm going to stick with that for now, but that'll be what I'm scored on when we come back to the predictions. But yeah, not confident on that at all. Not confident at all. Annette says, I don't mind him occasionally, he irritates me, but I love his honesty. That's Rosberg. It's a bit like Villeneuve for me. I don't mind him every now and again, but I appreciate this is a bit hypocritical because as many of you probably say the same about me, but he'll say something, I go, oh, Jacques, just shut up. What was it the other week? Kimi Antonelli had his schoolmates with him and he was criticising for that. I was like, oh, shut up, you knob. Yeah, that's why I had a difficult weekend, was because he did a nice thing for people. Sorry you're not a nice person, but there you go. Nico Rosberg is a bit the same. He says things, you go, oh, whatever, Nico. But actually, of all their pundits, him and Jensen Button are the ones that have driven these cars most recently. So, you know, I feel like I'm more inclined to listen to them than perhaps, although they're not there anymore, your Damon Hills and your Johnny Herberts. But there we go. That's my view. Watching on the phone, ATM, Microsoft has messed up my computer with one of their BS updates, says Craig. Oh, don't. They update everything and then just said everything that's synced my end. So, yeah. Here we go. Esteban Ocon then. Franco Colapinto will be first to do a lap. We're watching Ocon on La Televisione. There you go. Rosberg can be objective. I'll agree with you on there, CPB. He can be, but also sometimes I think he says things because he knows it's controversial. I think Villeneuve's the same. There are some things I agree with, and then he'll say something. It just feels like the punditry equivalent of clickbait. Do you know what I mean? Like he said that just to cause drama, or frustration, or anger, or whatever. But sometimes he's got some great analysis, as Nico Rosberg. Just, yeah. I think he's better as a co-commentator alongside Crofty than a pundit in the pit lane with Lazenby and that. When he's commentating on F1 cars, I think he's great. That's what I'll say. Here comes Colapinto over the line with a 1:13.897. We're going to be much quicker than that today. This track will not ramp up too much here. The track evolution is sort of moderate, so it's not the same as a street track. But we've had a lot of F3 and F2 action as well. Again, if you're just tuning in, if you haven't seen the F2, definitely go and watch that. Particularly the last 10 laps, let's say. Very good. All got a bit, F2 chaotic. Stroll goes fastest on a 13.699. Everybody so far on soft tyres. This is a very typical Spain qualifying field so far. A lot of cars still in the pits. They'll wait now for the track temperature and whatnot to come down a bit. 48.2 degrees, by the way, track temperature. Nearly 30 degrees air temperature. That for me is hell. 29.2. It is about 19 degrees here in Lincoln, and I just want to go and cry. I do not do well in the heat at all. It's just not. It's not my thing. 10 degrees, love it. I'd live in a fridge if I could. Colapinto will make Q2 today, says Fabian. Hope you're well, mate. Good to see you again. Hey, Nick says morning, everyone. Hope you're all right, mate. That's probably because it's on Sky, says CPB. You might be answering somebody else there, so I'll not even. I'll try and guess what you meant by that, but I think you were talking to somebody else. That's fine. That's the problem. I watch everything over here on the TV, keep an eye on the timing here, and then I come over to chat, and you guys will be having a random conversation. I'll read some comment from it, and then go, "What? What have I missed? What you on about? Please include me. Don't leave me on the outside." I think the thing with Lewis Hamilton, because Tommy guy, hey Tommy, says not sure about Lewis, but maybe Charles will find the flow with the Ferrari. The thing is, Lewis Hamilton, it's kind of difficult to judge him too much at the moment because sort of with the move to Ferrari, because he's just always really struggled with these regulations, hasn't he? He's had some great results in there. The win at Silverstone, another, where else did he win as well? Won at Spa. I know Russell was disqualified, but still a great drive there. You know, he's won races and he's had podiums and he's driven well, but it's not a rule set that he's enjoying, is it? So maybe next year will be more to his liking. We'll see. But yeah, not looking forward to next year's rules. But that's because I'm a grumpy old man, so I'm sorry. Fernando sat in the pit lane there. Norris on his way out. So they're all coming out together now because they will do, and they'll all get in each other's way and then start complaining about it. So track temperatures moved down by 0.1 degrees. So they've all timed that beautifully. There you go. I was filming in India in a marble quarry and we saw 54 degrees, says Kevin. Oh, God, no. We had a 40-degree day a few years ago. First one ever in the UK, apparently. Never. I think I was only that was about 3 months after we got the dog as well as a puppy. So I was like, everything was a panic. Like, oh my God, he's going to die. Oh my God, I can smell meat. Is he cooking? It was hot. Horrible. Anyway, enough of my complaining about the heat. Because the thing is that I'm chugging down rain later and I moan about that as well. So there you go. I'm British. We moan about the weather. It's all we've got. Leave us alone. Cups of tea and moaning about the weather. And queuing. We're excellent at queuing. That's all we have. Nico Hulkenberg out on track. He's on a lap at the moment. So we've got Stroll, Albon, Colapinto, Ocon and Bearman have all done laps. 13.699 from Stroll, the fastest at the moment. Now everyone else can start getting theirs in. Still queues at the end of the pit lane, to be fair. So this is going to be a slow burner, I think, in Q1. Things will pick up, though. You've got less time in Q2 and Q3, obviously, so you can't faff around in the pits too long at that point. Apologies for itching my nose. It's hay fever again. It's not. I'm not picking it. Not yet. Maybe later. Maybe later. So down at turn 10 is Nico Hulkenberg. Russell behind him at the moment, so we'll see what this can be from Hulkenberg. What did he do in the first sector? So 21.9 in the first sector. So he's a 10th off Lance Stroll at the moment. 29.4, more or less matching him in the middle sector. So not bad this so far from Hulkenberg through this lovely final corner. So much better now they've gone back to the old configuration with the faster corner before it, and Hulkenberg goes fastest. A couple of tenths in the end, quicker than Stroll. Most of that found in the final sector, so that's one to keep an eye on as Bortoleto goes up to 5th place and actually pretty much matching Stroll as well. So maybe the final sector a good one for Sauber, one to keep an eye on later on, of course, when we get to the business end of this session, which is the who's going to stay and who's going to go. Don't sing. Sykes coming round now to do his lap in that Williams. I still think Williams will have a good weekend. Alex Albon wasn't expecting one, but I think that'll be okay. As Lawson goes fastest on a 13.482. Could we see both Racing Bulls ahead of Tsunoda today? That would be quite incredible. When Sykes goes 3rd, I say incredible. Some might say standard at the moment. Going to be dipping in and out, so we'll be on delay now. Hoping for a McLaren, want to be with Oscar Boy up front, but hoping for a rare, feisty qualifying race. Have fun. Catch you later. See you later, Alfie. I hope you well, mate. Have a good one. I'm sure we'll talk tomorrow at some point as well. But we'll miss you. We'll miss you, mate. Norris over the line, 12.799. Half a second quicker than Antonelli, who's second. Nearly 7 tenths quicker than Lawson. Here comes George Russell in the other Mercedes. Round that final corner, over the line he goes to second. 7 thousandths off Lando Norris. So just brings him into play quite nicely. Tsunoda saying check the floor on the radius. Has he been off track somewhere? You'd assume so. Hadjar goes 3rd. Only half a second off Norris, but that is in a Racing Bull, so that's not a bad lap at all. Oscar Piastri, purple in the middle sector, green in the first sector. Obviously, his first flying lap. He's always going to be green in the first sector as Gasly goes 5th. We'll see what Piastri does through 13 and then into 14. Sweeps round there. Lovely exit onto the straight. 12.7 to beat. He does a 12.551. Quarter of a second quicker than Lando Norris. Here comes Fernando, will score points this weekend. Alonso. If we manifest it, it might happen. That's my point. Or I'll continue to jinx it and make it worse for him. It is his home Grand Prix. I'd love to see a great result for Fernando today. And Carlos Sainz as well tomorrow too for both of them, of course, not just today. Colapinto had a time deleted, by the way, earlier, but he's okay. Up to 5th goes Alonso. Half a second fastest time. Not bad, actually, half a second when you consider where Aston might have been at times this season. So he'll take that, I'm sure. Here comes Leclerc. 6th. Okay. 7/10 off at the moment. Hamilton, sorry, 13. That's not Leclerc, it's Hamilton, 13-2. The yellow helmet should have given that away. Leclerc goes 4th. That's better. Still best part of half a second off, though. And Verstappen only a 10th down in the first sector on Piastri. I was about to say, we'll jinx him for the rest of the bloody season. Good job. Yeah, I'll try my best, Red Raven. He'll be fine. I don't really believe in the jinx. I'm sure a lot of you don't either, but it does feel like it sometimes, doesn't it? Commentators curse and all that. You don't believe it until it happens. Verstappen, it's half second up on sites, not on... I got excited there. I think it was half second up on Piastri, but it wasn't. No. Where is he? Yeah, he's about 3rd place here, I think, when he goes across the line. Maybe 4th. Over the line he goes. It's 2nd, actually. A 1,000th quicker than Lando Norris. There you go. Nothing in it whatsoever. Oscar and Lando keep splitting points. No bueno. Says Kevin. There you go. I don't know why I read it. I just did. I read it anyway. Why not? I was kind of confused by a couple of the comments. I was like, okay, fair enough. Oh, I thought I was going to sneeze then, so I didn't want you seeing that, so I just hid my face for a second. I was going to sneeze, but I didn't. It's fine. So 6 minutes to go. Piastri fastest, Verstappen, Norris, Russell, Leclerc, the top 5. Bottom 5, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Sainz, Tsunoda and Bortoleto. So far, Sean's Sauber will get 2 cars into Q2 is going really well. I should expect. So what's going on with Tsunoda then? He's down in 19th. He said check the floor over the radio. I don't know what that is in the chat, but that looks bonkers. Let's have a look, see if there's anything in there. No. Nothing at all. No, I don't know if they mentioned about Tsunoda, so... is there a predicted cut-off time tomorrow? I've not seen it yet, Mark. Usually comes up with a couple of minutes to go, so keep an eye out for that one. So we'll see. Worst career move possible for Yuki, says Moray. It does answer the question, though, doesn't it? We'll be able to say at the end of this season, we won't have to sit going, oh, what if they had put Tsunoda in that car? We'll know the answer. So they were probably going to move him on either way at the end of this season. So get him in that car, give him the rest of the year and see what happens. So, yeah, if you're wondering why I say they were probably going to, that's just down to the fact that he's really a Honda junior and not a Red Bull junior. And that relationship comes to an end at the end of this year. So at least we'll get the answer. But I kind of get the point as well. Like, does that bring his stock down? If he's looking for a seat for 26, it does a bit, doesn't it? But then he can point to Lawson, Perez, to a lesser extent, Albon and Gasly, but he still point to them as, look at everyone else who tried that second seat. So I got some battling in the pit lane here. We've got a Williams trying to squeeze out. It's Carlos Sainz trying to squeeze ahead of one of the Ferraris. It's Hamilton saying, no, mate, that's my spot. You're not getting in. Sainz still wants to squeeze in. Oh, it's like Tesco car park on a Saturday afternoon. Look at that. Terrible. Other supermarkets are, of course, available. Yeah. They are just trying to squeeze in here because they're going to run out of time. 3.5 minutes, plenty of time at the moment, but faffing in the pit lane, trying to get a gap, as we saw earlier. It was taking a good amount of time to get the cars out. Looks like Verstappen. Is that Verstappen and Russell staying in the pits? Colapinto stopped at the end of the pit lane. He's got a problem, which is why the queue's got stuck here. Now, Sainz... so Sainz has gone past. I don't know if he might face some trouble for that, but he's stuck in the fast lane. This is really bad news for everyone behind Colapinto. He can't move. He's edging forward now, trying to let the cars pass. So that has held all of them up. So that's why Colapinto... so he's just letting the car roll forward. That was smart from Colapinto. Let the traffic go. And now they're going to have... The problem is now it doesn't set up their fast laps very well, doesn't it? They can't do a sort of ideal prep lap. Still time, but they've got to get on with it now. So Colapinto with an issue at the end of the pit lane, causing a bit of chaos there, but we'll see what they do with that. Will he get out? I doubt it. Looks like he's still there, so... Not working for Colapinto at the moment, is it, in that car, which is a shame for him, but I'm not judging him too harshly. It's his third race weekend. He got no preseason testing. You know, it's a bit of a... It's great that he's got a seat, but it's a bit of a raw deal for him in that regard, isn't it? Being thrown in there and expecting to try and do a good job with no time to learn the car outside of a race weekend. Yeah, Colapinto still stopped there. So we'll see what's going on there. So we're looking not... Hulkenberg, Ocon, Sainz, Tsunoda and Bortoleto need to get through here. Colapinto's 11th. He's in the pit lane. So if the team can get the car back, they might be able to get him out for Q2. 12.9 is the projected knockout, assuming he gets through, of course, which if that's the case, 12.9 he won't. As Hulkenberg goes 8th on a 1:13.190. Here we go. Bortoleto goes 7th. What a lap from Gabriel Bortoleto. Great stuff from him. I was just going to answer your point there, RC. I did sign up for my team in F1 25. I've gone Colapinto and Aaron as my two for that one. But here goes Antonelli. Purple in the middle sector here. So quick here from Antonelli. My leg's switching for some reason. I've gone all team principal. I don't know why. There you go. Over the line he goes. 5th place for Antonelli. Quarter of a second off the fastest time by Piastri. See what everyone else is going to do out there. Lawson... Hadjar goes 10th, sorry, not Lawson. Just ahead of Hulkenberg. Bortoleto looking very good here. It could all fall apart yet. Don't worry about that. I've put the jinx on it now. Gazzy goes 9th, ahead of Alonso. So good lap there. It is 13 flat, though. The cutoff is 29.9, according to F1 and the experts. And that means that everyone from Leclerc down is in trouble here. So... I say experts, meant AWS and their wonderful data that's always correct. Sometimes. Here comes Sainz then, round the final corner. This is all going to happen very quickly as always. So Sainz goes up into 13th place. Not a great lap. That's going to be touch and go from there for him. Big has to hang on. Hamilton down to 14th, by the way. He needs a lap at the moment. He is improving the first sector. Not in the middle sector, though, for Hamilton. There is a bit of pressure on him here. Liam Lawson... over the line goes Hamilton into 9th place with a personal best final sector 13.0. Lawson round the final corner. Can he hop up the order a little bit? He does indeed, up to 7th place on a 13 flat at the moment, as Colapinto has stopped on pit exit there. So he's out of the session, whatever happens from here, and he would have been anyway because he's dropped 10 to the bottom 5. So they tried to get him going, but obviously didn't work out in the end, or just told him to roll it down there. But shouldn't need yellow flags there, and everyone's on the... other end of the track anyway. So here comes Ocon. Currently 19th, goes 15th, right on the bubble. Sainz drops out. We've lost Carlos Sainz. We've lost Colapinto. Here comes Ollie Bearman round that final corner. 13.2 to beat. Does a 13 flat and goes 11th. Knocks out Esteban Ocon. Nico Hulkenberg on the bubble. And here's Tsunoda. He is currently plumb last on a 13.8. He has got to get this lap in, and he's got to knock Hulkenberg out if he wants to get through. Round that final corner again. 11, 12, 13. Only 19th for Yuki Tsunoda. Wow. Stroll goes 7th. Steady on, Lance. You'll surprise us all with that 7th place for Lance Stroll right at the end there on a 1:13.0. But we have lost Nico Hulkenberg, which means Bortoleto has out-qualified him. Esteban Ocon out-qualified by Ollie Bearman. Carlos Sainz out-qualified by Alex Albon. Franco Colapinto with an issue, so will be out-qualified by Gasly. And Yuki Tsunoda is last because he has lost a lap time, has he? He's just dropped to 20th, unless Colapinto's slow lap to the end of the pit lane was quicker. I don't know, but I'm guessing a lap time was deleted or it was just a mistake on the timing tower. But Tsunoda, last. Is there damage to that floor? He did say, check the floor. Not an excuse, though. He shouldn't be 20th. That's... oh, dear. Oh, dear. Verstappen P2, by the way. I know you can't compare the two, but, I mean, come on. Well, I mean, it is still a big gap. I'm not defending him, but Verstappen 12.7, Tsunoda 13.3, that's, what, 6-7 tenths, is it? 6 tenths of a second between them? I mean, that's bad that he's down in 20th, but actually... probably fairly in keeping with the gap between Verstappen and all his teammates lately, actually. So maybe Yuki Tsunoda is just doing exactly the same as everybody else and not be able to handle that car. Not defending him, of course, because that's still an awful place to be. But still, 6 tenths. It's not like there's 2 seconds between them. Also, 8 tenths separating the entire field. Less than a second. It's close. So there you go. There you go. It's, Colapinto's going to be investigated after the session for what happened down there, but ultimately, that could be anything. That could be the fact that he was sat there with an issue, not his fault, so that would be harsh. It could be that he left the pit lane with an issue and parked up on pit exit. It could have been the mechanics that we didn't see might have run into the fast lanes to try and get him going, and that might be trouble. So there could be all sorts of issues there with the Colapinto thing, but yeah. Do you know? Right. Go get a drink if you don't like grumpy old people, because Sean's about to have a moan, right? Okay. The sooner this film is released and gone, the better. I am so fed up of everything in F1 being about this bloody film. I don't care. Some of you really probably can't wait, but I am just not interested. Although, that said, on the sort of motorsport films, Sky gave me a free gift yesterday, which was the Ferrari movie, so I'm gonna have to watch that one. But I say free gift, we pay an absolute fortune for Sky, so it's not free at all. It's just a token gesture to keep us paying, which will work because I probably will. But yeah, so yeah, look, it might be a great film. It probably won't be, but all the best to those involved with it. But it's not one that I'll be rushing to. It's one of those that I'll maybe watch one night when I get home drunk and it's on at 11 o'clock on a Saturday night on BBC One or something. In 7 years' time, or it's like the Christmas film, the big Christmas movie on the BBC in 15 years' time, and now a network exclusive or a network first or a network debut or whatever. And you're like, oh great, that was a decade ago. It's just gonna be cheesy, and I love cheesy, but no. Same with Drive to Survive. Don't even bother with it. I just don't watch it anymore. Usual stuff coming through. Ocon and Stroll noted for following to fail. Race director's notes on the maximum delta time. Nothing going to happen there, I wouldn't have thought, unless it's ridiculous. Usually, the mitigating factor there is that they're backing off to let cars through, so they should be okay. Watch the Ferrari movie, says Nick, and screw the F1 movie. Not the word he used, but I went with that anyway. Drive to Survive is still going, Kieran. I think they're on Series 6 now, I think. Only one episode worth watching all of them. That's in Season 2. The Williams episode. One day I'll let it go. I will not, ever. I saw Franco's P19 industry worried about getting a penalty, says Nick. Oh, I'd be terrified about it. Yeah. If he gets a penalty for that, his day's ruined. Albon doesn't understand why they're going so early. Better for this set of tyres. It's the same ones you just aborted the lap on. So they are scrub tyres then, aren't they? They're just going to be doing that. And there's Colapinto's car. Number 43. Parked up. Anthony Davidson, thank God. Let's see what he's saying on the analysis here. Let's watch the analysis of Yuki Tsunoda in the Red Bull. So this is his build-up lap he's looking at initially. So coming through the final corner, very wide and very bumpy over those curbs there on the exit. So they are saying that could have been where the floor damage was. These, again, hypothesizing there might have been damage. Actually, with these cars, even the slightest bit of damage, it can be worth 2 or 3 tenths, can't it? I mean, it's a lot of corrections there through 12, sorry. Yeah, the car. We'll find out. That he will say in the pen. I'll keep an eye on the group chat because I usually put little summaries in there from the pen, which I'm not sure if I can. If I can read them, because I think they're written media, but I work for written media, so I suppose that should be okay. But I don't know. It's all very blurry in places. So the rules with F1, they're quite strict. There's a whole list of them. It's ridiculous. Why is no one mentioning Sainz out? Bigger shot than Yuki out. I mean, I ran through it, Nick. But I was looking at everything else at the time. I mean, Tsunoda is a big story. It's a bigger. The question is it damaged? That's why it's a big story. If it's not damaged, that's shocking. If it is damaged, then that gives him a bit of a break there. But Sainz, I don't think Sainz out is that shocking, to be honest. No disrespect to Carlos. I know the last few weeks have been really good for Williams, but he's not been epic this season for him, have they? Has he? But yeah, that might be harsh. But Sainz hasn't delivered to the level I thought he was going to deliver to this season, but things have improved, and it's not easy to go from a team like Ferrari at the sharp end to a team in the midfield back of the grid like Williams. I mean, in the midfield now, aren't they? But they were back of the grid last year, so it's never easy. But I expect him to adapt better than he has. So it's home Grand Prix as well, which is painful, doubly painful. As into the pits immediately comes Fernando Alonso. Is that a... No, it can't be. I was going to say, is that a heat, can't be a heat cycle. 1, it's soft tyres. Why would you? And 2, they're already used anyway. So I'm not sure why he's coming in. Hopefully not a problem. Probably will be because they're backed it for points. My friend is more interested in the F1 movie than I am. He really wants to watch it with me, says CPB. My sister-in-law and her partner... I don't know if they're engaged, are they? Really? Partner, we'll say partner. They're really into Drive to Survive, and they enjoy Formula One, but I get the impression they prefer the Drive to Survive stuff than... I might be wrong. They'll tell me off if I'm wrong, I'm sure. But, yeah, there's some people like the stuff like that over the actual racing and that. I could understand why people who aren't really into F1 maybe wouldn't find what we find interesting, but you know, I find it interesting. Otherwise I wouldn't be sat here. Particularly qualifying, it's great fun. Even the racing, there's always something to keep an eye on. Like in Monaco with the timing screens, there's always something to watch. But yeah, no, there are a few people out there like that. But I think to be fair, and I'm not going to tell you what to do, CPB, but if I had a friend who was like, I really want to go see the F1 movie with you, I'd go with them. Even though I don't want to see it, just eat lots of popcorn and fall asleep. At least you're there for moral support as Albon goes fastest on a 13-1, first one to get a lap in. Although you might be the one that needs the moral support, to be fair. James says, are you interested in the F1 movie coming to cinemas soon? No. It might be great. I don't know, but we'll see. I will not go and pay to watch it. So 1:13.6, half a second between Albon and Bearman. I think they lost me just while we're waiting for the laps to start ramping up. I think they lost me when they're like, here's Brad Pitt. He's going to be a racing driver. How old is he? 82 or whatever it is. He's like, how old is Brad Pitt? He must be 50s? Surely? Someone's going to tell me he's like 91 or something. I'll go, what? But yeah, 60-year-old potentially a driver, says Kevin. So yeah, that's just his. Yeah, sure. Even in the 50s, they weren't that old. Good God. Is he 60? Wow. He's 21 years older than me, and he looks better than I do. That's plastic surgery for you, I guess, but and money. But over the line goes, and not eating stupid amounts of ice cream at 10 o'clock at night. But there you go. Max Verstappen starting his flying lap now. We'll keep an eye on this one into turn 1. And turn 2, lovely sequence of corners here. Might cause some drama tomorrow. We'll see. Don't forget, anyone off track in turn 1 has got to rejoin to the left of that bollard at the end of the exit of turn 2 and entry of turn 3. Purple, understandably for Verstappen over Albon, just under a tenth quicker. Down to turn 5. I quite like this corner, turn 5, weirdly. I don't know why. Good memories, I suppose. Schumacher's overtakes there in 96 were quite special, weren't they? In those conditions. Through the awesome turn 9, where, of course, going back a few years, Pierre Gasly had that massive shunt in testing, didn't he, down there, which pretty much summed up his half of the season with Red Bull, poor guy. 4 tenths up in the middle sector is Verstappen. Gabriel Bortoleto, purple in the first sector. As he hopped in a McLaren by mistake. Here comes Max Verstappen through the final corner. 13-1 to beat. He should beat that. And he does with a 112.358. Camera filters work wonders on older actors too, says Kevin. Camera filters, that's an idea. You wait to tune in tomorrow. And I've got a full head of hair and I look about 17. You wait. Bortoleto, no longer purple in the first sector, but still got it for a while. Norris has done that now. Over the line goes Bortoleto. It's still a good lapper, 13 flat, 7 tenths off the pace, but in a Sauber, that's not awful at all. Good opening gambit there from Bortoleto in Q2. Round the nice turn 9 there is Lando Norris. What's Piastri doing out there? He's not started his flying lap. He's just about to do so now. Lando Norris is 3.5 tenths up on Max Verstappen in that middle sector. That is pretty dominant there, isn't it? Used tyres, by the way. Albon, Stroll and Bearman. Everybody else on new tyres, so nothing there for Norris versus Verstappen. This is just going to be a very hot lap. It's not as big a gap as it looks, I suppose, but 3 tenths in the end. Norris to Verstappen. 1:11.383, I believe, is the fastest lap here ever in any session, any competitive session. So one to keep an eye on. I don't think we're going to get down to the 11.3s today, but you never know. Alonso goes third, half a second off the pace and a tenth and a half behind Max Verstappen. Charles Leclerc is just going through the final couple of corners now. Lewis Hamilton not too far behind. What is Charles Leclerc going to do? Third. Not bad. 14.4. Not where Ferrari want to be, of course, but still not bad at all. Lewis Hamilton goes third on a 12.4 as well. Half a tenth quicker in the end. Here's Oscar Piastri, though. Does he beat Lando Norris? He does indeed in a 1:11.998. This is, unless Max Verstappen finds something to surprise us all, as he has a couple of times this season. This is looking very much like Norris versus Piastri. Piastri versus Norris as Antonelli goes 8th place in the Mercedes. Russell's going to be a bit quicker than that and into 4th place. Half a tenth behind Verstappen. So really, it's McLaren and then everybody else, isn't it? Yeah, pretty much. James says, my qualifying prediction will be Piastri on pole, Verstappen second, and Norris or Leclerc for third. Oh, God. Let's have Leclerc in the top 3. That'd be awesome. Obviously, Q3 can be different. Drivers might give it a little bit more, take more risks. This is just about getting through, but at the moment, it's looking very good for McLaren, isn't it? So, a lot of movie chat going on. Or I hope so, CPB, if you're talking about that. But, yeah, I think so. Ocean's 11 is one that's been mentioned as well. So, yeah, it's quite a bit of a movie chat in there. Yeah. What's the last... I downloaded The Damned United again the other day. I want to watch that at some point. Love that film. If you haven't seen it, very good. It's a documentary about Leeds, not about the current state of Manchester United. It's a very fitting title right now, so there you go. Dark clouds in the distance over turn 13, says George, and the team said, copy that. We all copied that. I haven't seen all of it, Kieran. Truthfully, I've seen good chunks of it, but never one of those films where I've probably seen it in bits, but never sat down and watched it start to finish, if that makes sense. So I've probably seen like the middle of it, the beginning of it, and the end of it in that order in whatever years. But yeah, yeah. Happy to give Kimi a tow if needed, says George. So some team play potentially down at Mercedes. I was just about to ask you in chat, like an absolute moron, where will the tow be most beneficial? Could it be that massive start-finish straight, Sean? Just a thought. I just thought about between 9 and 10 as well. Could be helpful, but you can't really do both, can you? So I'm guessing down the start-finish straight and down the start-finish straight only. That would have been genius. Catherine, hey Catherine, says, what happened to Sainz? No word from Carlos yet. I don't think he's been down to the pen. As soon as I've got some interview info, I will let you know. But I think just not quick enough. I think he said it wasn't a good lap, so just not quick enough today, which is a shame. But I will caveat that by saying that actually there wasn't a lot between the whole pack anyway. It was I think 8 tenths between first and 20th, so it's quite close out there, and only a couple of tenths here. They're going to, even a tenth less than that could make all the difference. So Carlos didn't get through, but I don't think he was a million miles away from it. Just didn't hook the lap up. So pace is in the Williams though, because Albon's through, isn't he? So yeah. Brad Pitt could play Jensen Button's racing cousin Benjamin. There you go. I like that. That's a good one. You can have that boom spoon. There are some dark clouds out there, to be fair. Rain wasn't supposed to be an issue coming into this weekend. But if you're watching on the TV, you'll see in the distance the rain in Spain. It looks more threatening than I thought it looked. Yeah. But there you go. I'd be surprised if it rains. But the best kind of rain in F1 is rain that comes out of nowhere that no one's expecting. If you go into a session expecting rain, then everyone prepares for it, don't they? They get to the end of the pit lane early and they want to get the laps in. And when the rain just hits, it's great. So, but it's not. I think Bernie Collins just said there on the Sky coverage that it's moving quickly, but not quickly enough to be a threat to quali. So, I don't think there's any chance of rain tomorrow. We'll have a look at have a look towards tomorrow after we finish qualifying. We're going through Q2 at the moment. We've got 3 minutes to go. Cars just starting to lead the pits again. So we'll see. We'll see what happens going forwards. Just in time. Yeah, Formula 2's already done, I'm afraid, Fud. It would have been good just in time for the F2, wouldn't it? Although usually they get called off when it rains too heavily, don't they? So maybe not, but new to F1, is Barcelona a good overtaking track? Monaco is disappointing, says Catherine. Firstly, Catherine, I think it's very generous of you to describe Monaco as disappointing. That's the most generous review I've read all week about Monaco, so thank you for that. I like Monaco. 12.7, by the way, is the knockout time. Not for racing, Monaco, but certainly as a spectacle. But it's... Turn 1's a great spot in Barcelona, but it's not an easy track to pass on. I mean, it's easier than Monaco, but you could overtake most high streets easier than Monaco. So down to Turn 1's a good spot to get a move done. You've got that really long run down the straight with the DRS, the drag reduction system, the rear wing flap opening, which that's a great spot for a move. Turn 10 used to be, but they reprofiled it, and then they reprofiled it again, and that's maybe taken that away a little bit. We saw some good overtakes in F2 through 7, 8, and 9, actually, which was really weird. Not seen that before. It's not the best, I guess, is my review of Spain's overtaking, but since they've got rid of the chicane they used to have in the final couple of corners between them, it seems to be better now down to Turn 1. So, better than Monaco, still not easy, but most tracks are pretty tough to pass on in F1, but yeah, Turn 1's where we'll see most action tomorrow for sure. Red Raven says it isn't generous. Disappointment when you expect nothing is quite harsh, I'd say. Fair enough. Yeah, we expect nothing and still we're disappointed when it comes to Monaco. There we go. Look, the charm of Monaco is qualifying. Always. I love qualifying in Monaco. We'll do Monaco talk another day again. I've done enough moaning about it this week. So we've got final minute now. The laps are coming in. So Stroll goes 12th place, 1:13.058, a second off the pace at the moment. That might be it for him. In fact, it will be it for him now. That's over. Here comes Antonelli. Only 8th for Antonelli, 1:12.585. So he might be in danger there because Albon is improving. Bortoleto in 11th place improving. He couldn't, could he? Wait for Pascal dancing in the chat. You just wait. Bortoleto's on one as well. Someone's been wide, kicking up dust on the exit of turn 13. Here comes Albon. He's going to go into 10th place. Knocks out Hadjar for now. Bortoleto drops to 12th. Bearman. Hadjar doesn't improve, stays 11th place. Bortoleto goes 11th. Oh, just a 10th of a second away. Hadjar isn't out. Sorry, it was the timing screen went funky there. And I read it completely wrong probably. So Hadjar and Lawson are still on their laps. So Bortoleto, Hadjar, Stroll, Lawson, Bearman in the bottom 5. Both Racing Bulls are on laps, and Hadjar goes 6th with a very good lap on a 1:12.461. And here comes Liam Lawson as well. Nearly called him Pierre Gasly there for some reason, but there you go. Go back a few years. Here goes Lawson. Only 13th on a 1:12.763. Bearman's improving though, so let's see what Bearman does. Gasly currently on the bubble, 6/10 off the time, fastest time. Bearman needs to find a second in total on this lap, so he is quicker than Gasly. Is he? No, he's not. He's 4/10 down on Gasly. It's difficult because he's personal best. On a used set of tyres as well, so Bearman probably not going. If he gets this done in the final sector, this will be one of the best final sectors you'll see from a Haas in Formula One. Over the line he goes. He doesn't in the end. Bearman stays 15th. So we've lost Alex Albon, Gabriel Bortoleto, Liam Lawson, Lance Stroll, and Ollie Bearman. Great lap there from Isaac Hadjar to go 6th place. Had a chat with Jonty the other day briefly. And I think we've both declared him Rookie of the Year already, Isaac Hadjar. So no pressure, mate. No pressure. We'll talk about Hadjar tomorrow. Some things to say about him that I kind of reiterate some points from last week and almost reiterate some of the stuff said about Antonelli as well about calming down. But we'll get onto that tomorrow post-race. I don't want to talk too much in case he has a shocker tomorrow. But yeah, great stuff from Hadjar. Albon out. Looking at Williams' pace this weekend so far, probably would have been 9th or 10th-ish anyway. Not disastrous. What's happened? Oh, there might be some traffic here, which might be getting turbulent air from the Haas. Was he the one that keeps up the dust then that I mentioned? I think he might have been. So they were dirty Haas. They know what they were doing. Were doing purposefully slow in Sector 3, says Albon. Dirty Haas. Dirty Haas. He's not happy, is Alex Albon there. I mean, they knew what they were doing, but it didn't work because you're both out. So, yeah. Fernando Alonso, by the way, 8th place. Just saying. It's a good quali so far for him. What do we get? So Piastri and Norris, it's between them for pole unless Verstappen pulls something out of the bag here. Verstappen 3rd, Russell 4th, Hamilton 5th, Hadjar 6th, Leclerc 7th, Alonso 8th, Anthony 9th, and Gasly 10th. They are your 10 going for pole position now. Albon, Bortoleto, Lawson, Stroll, and Bearman all out. So let's end the poll for a change. 64%. Oh, do you know what, actually? Only 64% of you think McLaren are taking pole. What do you know that I don't? Red Bull 17%. Ferrari 15%, and I voted on that at least 10 times myself. Mercedes 2%. Thank you for your votes on that one. Who have you got for poll then? Let me know in chat. Give me a surname or a top 3 or however you want to do it. Let me know your predictions for Q3 while we're waiting for the cars to get out on track again during this little break. Hey Matt, hope you well, mate. I am going to go. So my prediction will have to be Leclerc. I have to stick with that one. But I'm going to go with Piastri. There you go. I'll go Piastri. But it's good. Look, I could have just said McLaren there and been a right cop out, but yeah, it's going to be McLaren. So get your predictions in. I'll have a quick drink ready for Q3. What is FP3 today? Q3. I'll back with you in just a second. Oh, my drink's gone warm. Oh, God, that was horrible. It worked. It did the job. So, Pascal says, very happy with P12 from Bortoleto. His best qualifying so far. Sauber have improved with the updates. Definitely seem to have. So that's good news. There was a moment, Pascal, just a moment I thought he was going to get into Q3, but he didn't in the end, which was a shame. McLaren are definitely team to beat, says James. Why does Fry have any votes, says Hansi? Really, it was all me, Hansi, I promise, it was all me. Matt's gone with Norris for pole. Tommy's gone with Alonso has a lot of time at this track. The car must be at its limits. Yeah, I'd like to see a couple of onboards of Alonso after this weekend just to see how hard he's pushing and where, because he'll give it everything in front of his home fans. He absolutely will. Nick says Norris for P1, Piastri P2, Russell P3. I think Oscar would like to see Max do it, says Mark. Piastri, Verstappen, Norris, says Michael. Kevin says Pastry, Verstappen and Norris. Hansi says it's a top up between Russell and Verstappen for the third spot. That's tight, actually. That's a good shout. That is really tight there. So that's going to be a fun battle. Hadjar is a goat with that car, says Med. He's been great this season, hasn't he, so far? And let's wait for Q3, says Craig. Let's indeed. It's not far away. Watching Anthony Davidson look at the Albon situation with the dirty Haas, as he puts it. So there you go. That is their name for the rest of the season. Who knows? While we're waiting, actually, please do drop a like on the stream. We got nearly 600 of you here. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning or afternoon or evening with me. Really appreciate the support. Let's see if we get to 100. That'd be amazing. So thank you so much for your support today. Lots of likes. Also, I'm not going to tell you what it is, because if we hit it, you'll all stop. So I'm going to go for it. I've got a target in my head for the weekend for subs. So if you could subscribe as well if you're new, that'd be massively appreciated too. Because I'd like to get those numbers up a little bit. It would be nice to hit my target in my head. So, and I'll tell you at the end of tomorrow if we do it, I promise. But you might have to remind me because I'm getting on now. So yeah, likes and subs as always, the usual YouTuber spiel. It's free, helps the channel, all of that stuff. So thank you very much for your likes and subs and your support as always. You should get a little flash up on screen actually if you subscribe too, which I think I moved because when I came to edit a short, I had I think it was Kevin or someone put a super chat in, it was right across my face and ruined my editing. So, thanks for your support, but, be considerate. So I've moved it a little bit, so there you go. But if not, then I'll try and do some shout-outs after the session, because most should appear on Streamlabs. Not everyone will, but most should. So I think, random site, I think you need to have your settings set to public for your subscriptions for it to show up in the Streamlabs feed. So not everyone likes to do that. So if I don't shout your name out today, I apologise, but I do appreciate the support. So there we go. Can you tell I'm filling? I'm filling. Yeah, we need a dirty Haas t-shirt, don't we? Maybe we should get the one that I've got and just write dirty across it in quote marks. And Alex Albon's face doing that. Alex Albon yells at Cloud or something like that. That'd be good. Even God mode won't save Max this time, says Neek. My phone overheated and died, so now I have to type on my laptop, says CPV. Oh, awful news. Thank you, Paula. Thank you to CPB as well. Appreciate that. Bortoleto P12 is actually incredible, says WT. Yeah, it's a great one. And it was only a 10th off Q3, which is pretty impressive. So, yeah. Important to note as well, I know we briefly touched on it before we got going, as Q3 is go. Yeah, Q3 is go. Why did I doubt that one? There we go. Wings in F1, a lot of you will know this already, but just to reiterate the point, they're always going to flex. It has to happen. They can't not flex. They have to flex to a point. It's about restricting that flex to a certain. So it used to be that it could flex up to 15 millimeters. Now it's 10 millimeters. So, which there is a little bit of something I find quite funny in this. They're coming down hard on flexy moving bodywork, and then next year they're moving to moving bodywork, if you want to put it that way, because they need it for the route they've got in the regulations to make these cars raceable. So you're not allowed movable aero, but next year you are. I love the sport. I love it so much. I missed the dirty Haas. Please enlighten me, says Tommy Guy. Alex Albon said on the radio, he felt he was held up by the Haas in turn 12, 13. And he came over the radio saying that it was dirty air, dirty Haas knew what it was doing, basically. So that's paraphrasing a little bit. So in fact, I'll read it here. So it has to, I won't read it there. So that's not what they said anyway. I'm reading the wrong thing. Anyway, so that's basically what it is. It's now the name of the Haas officially. Dirty Haas. Maybe that's the sequel to Dirty Air from Chamber. Dirty Haas, which he can innuendo that to within an inch of his life, can't he? Dirty Haas. So I might suggest it to him, actually. There's definitely clouds out there, Nick, on the long shot, isn't it, when you look up the straight? So, Right. Here we go. Difficult to say for sure just yet, but the only one at the moment on track on used tyres is Gasly. I would imagine others will, but we'll see. Norris is on new tyres, Piastri as well. Antonelli, Russell, Verstappen, Hamilton. Wait to see what Leclerc does. Clean Gene. Very good. Here we go then. Piastri starting his lap. Should be okay for traffic initially. Antonelli starts his, then it's Russell, Verstappen, Gasly, Hamilton, and Norris. Or has Norris already started his? He may have done. He hasn't. No, he hasn't. Yes, he has. No, he hasn't. He hasn't. Ignore me. 21-4 in the first sector for Piastri. I think Nico Rosberg telling Crofty to start talking about what's on track there. That's one thing Nico Rosberg does very well, actually. Brings Crofty back to the bit we actually want to hear about, not what he had for his breakfast. So here comes, says Sean. Here comes Oscar. I'm not paid to do commentary. Damn it. I'm not a commentator. I'm just a really dumb fan. 21-4, 28-6 for Piastri. He's going to be the first one to get this lap in. Not really not to say he will be fastest, as you'd expect, unless he sticks it in the wall at any point. But hopefully not for Oscar. Verstappen's matched Piastri, though, in the first sector. Piastri marginally quicker. It's a 1:11.8 from Piastri. So we're now in the 11s. He did give Lando Norris a toe as well, which is interesting. I'm not sure... that will have been planned from Piastri, but that worked out quite nicely for Lando Norris. Russell, 1:12.0. He's kind of in play here. He's going to need a hell of a lap on a 12 flat. 21-3 in the first sector for Norris. That has worked. Verstappen only goes third. So this battle between Russell and Verstappen is not as close as we thought. Actually, that's 2.5 tenths between them. Has there been a mistake somewhere from Max? We'll wait and see. Or is it just that the pace isn't there? Don't forget, coming into this weekend, McLaren predicted to fall off. Mercedes predicted to fall off. Red Bull and Ferrari expected to gain with these flexi wing technical directive things. I've been saying a lot. Wasn't going to make any difference. And... that's where we're at the moment, so I'd hate to be right 2 weekends in a row. That would be terrifying. But here we go. Lando Norris round turn 12, then it's 13. And it might surprise you to hear 14 follows that one. And then it's a run to the line. He's going to go fastest here, is he? 1:11.8 to beat. It's a 1:11.819. 17. Sorry. Crofty spaffing his pants there. I thought we were right at the end of qualifying, but he wasn't. It's provisional pole position for Lando Norris. He's screaming for the second year in a row. Norris is on pole. Like, he's not. It's provisional, and there's a 100th of a second, 200ths if you want, between the two of them. This isn't over yet. We've got a whole lot of second runs to go there. Goodness me. I still don't understand why we didn't do what we discussed. It's 2 tenths, too conservative. Interesting from George Russell. I wonder what they're discussing there. Let me know what you think in chat. Leclerc goes 4th, only half a tenth off Russell. Verstappen down to 5th, by the way. Just after Crofty got excited, I had to check the time. I thought we had another run to go, but I wondered if I'd missed it or if we're only doing one run or we were out of time. But we've still got a good 6 minutes to go. So, yeah. The toe gave Norris the edge. Yeah, no, I mean, nothing in it, is there? He did get the purple first sector, so it would have helped him, I'm sure. Norris lets Piastri go and then says, right then, mate, I'm going to follow you now. There's nothing Piastri can do. He has to push. Will they reverse that? They won't reverse that, no. Watch Lando close behind. Cheeky, says Piastri. We've got some good team radio today, you know. Cheeky. Dirty Haas. Very cheeky. Russell wants a toe. It's obvious, says Nick. Oh, because he said he'd give Antonelli a toe, didn't he? So I suppose that's the way to go around that one. Swap it over. Makes sense. There's still time for them to do it, though. Did Norris have a bad middle sector relatively, says Fabian. Let's have a look. Stroll's been noted for failing to follow race director's notes. Driver weighing. So if he's not been to the weighbridge, he might be in trouble there. That's usually quite strict, isn't it? Not just the car, but for the driver as well. Yeah. Interesting. One to keep an eye on. 14th at the moment is Stroll, or that's where he's staying for now. But yeah, if he's gone back to his team after that, that'll be naughty. That'll be a proper tick off. Those rain clouds. Are we going to get a situation? We've had it before in F1 when we get right to the end of a session or a race and it just chucks it down when it's all over and done. You wait. Thinking Hockenheim, you'll know what I mean. Yeah, they are investigating that after the session on Stroll. Here comes Fernando Alonso. 5th place for him. That's a cracking lap from Alonso. Nice fresh set of tyres. Up into 5th. Just ahead of Max Verstappen. 10th and a half behind Charles Leclerc. I assume he's just gone in the gap and that's his one run. So I'd be surprised if he stays there. But all things considered, really good stuff there from Fernando. That's a good point. It has got a bit filthy, hasn't it, actually? Yeah. Cheeky, dirty Haas. Your minds are in the gutter. It's a disgrace. Just over 3 minutes to go. Leclerc's out of the car. So that's the end of that then. Charles Leclerc's only hope is 4th. As Alonso waves to the crowd as he goes round, bless him. Says woo. I'm not going to do all the emotion, just woo. Very good stuff from Fernando. Yeah, I'm not sure. What I assume Charles has a mechanical issue. If he's got out the car because that's the best he can do and all the speed they've got, I'd be very worried for Ferrari. I imagine that's some sort of an issue for Leclerc. If it has been said on commentary, I apologise, but I've got that quite long in my ear and I'm obviously talking over it, so it's difficult for me to keep up with what's happening there. So I often find quite a lot out after qualifying and then come back to you tomorrow and go, did you know? And you all go, yeah, it happened live, Sean. And then I look a fool. But yeah, difficult. Wait, I've got 2 minutes to go. Both McLaren. I wonder if they're going to return the favour with the toe. They won't return the favour with the toe. Thank you to Wenner, to is it Slazer, to Bilal and to Diego for subscribing. Appreciate your support, guys. Thank you so much for joining my weird little community over here. We're good fun. We'll laugh, we'll cry, we'll fall out, we'll be best friends again tomorrow. It's a nice little place to be. It's an F1 safe haven on the interweb. There aren't many of them, or it doesn't feel like it sometimes when you're on social media. So you're very welcome. If you have subscribed as well, by the way, and I haven't called your name out, it's just because I can't see you on the Streamlabs dashboard, so apologies there. But if you have, thank you so much for your support. We're nearly at 100 likes as well, so 12 more and we'll get through that target as well. So thank you very much again for your support as we look at the Red Bull garage and somebody there. And I'm sure you'll tell me in chat that was somebody really important and I didn't realise who it was. But here goes Lando Norris for the final runs. Quick to the final minute of this session. A bit nervy, according to Rosberg, through those first couple of corners for Norris. I assume means the car, not the driver. I'd be terrified if it was me in that situation. But purple first sector, 21-2. Piastri not far behind. So these laps are going to get completed pretty quickly or in quick succession. So let's see what is going on. What can Piastri... He beats it with a... Oh, there's 11 thousandths between them. This is so close already. We'll keep an eye on everyone else. Hadjar goes 5th, by the way, in the Racing Bulls. Bulls. Here goes Norris. He's slower than his personal best in the middle sector, but is actually up overall in that middle sector. So not bad from Norris. He's still in this one. He has provisional pole. Of course he's still in it. What's Piastri going to do? As he does a 28.5. Wow, great middle sector from Oscar Piastri. Lando Norris needs everything he's got out this final sector. It is a 1:11.755. He goes quickest, but Oscar Piastri is absolutely flying out there. Here comes Aussie P over the line. It is pole position for Oscar Piastri, a 1:11.5, 2/10 quicker than Lando Norris. Here goes Antonelli up into 4th place. Good lap from him in the end on a 1:12.11. What is George Russell going to do? Can he improve on that and get himself in the mix a bit more with these McLarens? I'd be surprised. He's got half a second to find if he wants pole and 3/10 to move into P2. Verstappen down there in 9th is not having a great lap, but you'd hope he'd improve. Hamilton goes 3rd. Where's that come from? A 1:12.0 for Lewis Hamilton. Here comes Max Verstappen. He goes 3rd on a 1:11.8. Wasn't having a great lap. Was only 900ths off of Norris's 2nd. Purple final sector doing a lot of the heavy lifting there for him. Great stuff there. Here goes George Russell. He goes 4th on a 1:11.8 and matches Max Verstappen's time. We said, didn't we, chat? It was going to be close between those two. It cannot get any closer than exactly the same time. A 1:11.848 for Verstappen, a 1:11.848 for Russell. Wow, that was close. But it is Oscar Piastri on pole. Lando Norris 2nd, Max Verstappen 3rd, George Russell 4th, Lewis Hamilton 5th, Kimi Antonelli 6th, Charles Leclerc 7th, Pierre Gasly 8th, Isaac Hadjar 9th, and Fernando Alonso. Great lap to get P5 initially, but he drops down to P10, which is still actually, given where the Aston has been this season, a really good lap and a great result today in front of his home fans. We will go through the order properly with times and all that shortly. We'll just have a moment to get over all of that, but it is Aussie P on P1. There you go. Very good stuff. Yeah, it was purple. Apart from the final sector, Verstappen took the purple final sector. So purple first sector, 21.259. It's the middle sector there, 28.580 to the 28.646 of Norris's. And then the final sector, he did a 21.707, but Verstappen did a 21.680. Verstappen was personal best in one sector, yellow, so worse off than his personal best in another sector, and then purple in the final sector. So a real journey, that. A real roller coaster ride on that lap for Max Verstappen, has to be said. So there we go. Good stuff. I'm going to butcher your name, and I'm so sorry. Is it Gendra? It says, did Tsunoda's car have a problem? We don't know for sure. Just there's a good prompt actually to go and check the group chat. But possible floor damage. So I haven't got anything on about. So just hang on. There might be a way I can listen to this. Just 1 second. We'll have to go. Oh, I can't. I've not got that plugged in. Don't matter. I was going to say I might also listen to it, but yeah, I can't see. They've got the audio in there from Yuki, but I can't see what it says, unfortunately, so I can't tell you what's happened there. But yeah, there was some suspicion of floor damage, which explains some of the gap there, potentially, if there is damage, but just didn't really have the pace today anyway. But I said it to somebody earlier, there was only 8/10 between the top 20 drivers or the entire field in that first session. So just a little bit of time here and there could have made all the difference. So if he has got any damage, then that would have made a big part of the reason why he's down there. But I think just struggling with the car full stop, isn't he? Which is exactly what everybody's done in that car pretty much. So, yeah, so sorry I can't give you a more definitive answer, but keep an eye on socials. There might be something out before we end the stream on Tsunoda, but yeah, I can't listen to the audio because because I haven't got my headphones plugged in for it, and I can't really play it on the stream either, unfortunately. Yes, it is a Mercedes shirt, Ruby. I'll explain it to you. I haven't seen you for a couple of weeks or a few weeks, so I'll explain it to you very quickly. First of all, I think they've got the best merch this season. I really love it as a shirt, so that's one of the reasons. Other reason, I've got a Ferrari one, which is the oversized t-shirt, and it's one of the most comfortable t-shirts I've ever bought in my life, and it's going to be perfect for the winter. I wore it last Saturday and nearly boiled to death, so I can't... I can't wear it again in this heat, unfortunately. So maybe when we get into some of the races back end of the season, it's a bit cooler, I might do again. But yeah, very comfy t-shirt. But yeah, I do like the Mercedes t-shirts this year. So yes, remarkable that Hamilton beat Leclerc, says Red Raven. That's why Ruby's here, really. We all know why. No, it was a great. Well, I think you saw when we were live there. When I was live there, I was a bit surprised to see him do that, go third at the time. I thought, wow, where's that come from? But great lap from him. But it's so close. Yeah, I mean, Piastri's gone, but Verstappen was only 900ths off second. Russell absolutely matched him. So those two were just 900, less than a tenth off P2. Hamilton's only 0.2 further back. Antonelli's half a tenth behind that. Leclerc's 200ths behind that. Gasly is only 700ths off Leclerc. And then Hadjar's only half a tenth behind him, with Alonso 300ths further back. So it's so close in that top 10 between each of the drivers, apart from Piastri to Norris. And overall, 7/10 separating the top 10, which is pretty amazing. So, yeah. Ruby says, why is everyone surprised Hamilton is great? Because he's not been very good in that car this year, Ruby, overall, unfortunately, for one reason or another. Did win the sprint, of course, and had a couple of weekends where, I mean, actually, what was it, Imola? Was it Imola where Ferrari kind of were absolutely gone in quali, and then all of a sudden turned around and went, hey, we have got pace, and had a great race. But yeah, he's not been consistently delivering the lap times like that this season, unfortunately, which is a bit surprising, given actually as well, to be fair, in my defense, for this is all for Ruby, in my defense on this one, this weekend Hamilton hasn't really shown anything that makes me think, hey, boom, he's going to stick a lap in. So that's why it was a bit of a surprise. But yeah, it's good to see him beat Leclerc. It'll be a boost for him as well. So there you go. The boost Hamilton needed, now all he needs is a better car, says Kathy. The boost Hamilton needed, now he needs a better car, is probably one of the lines of the season, actually. We'll say that for the season review at the end of the year. I work for Ferrari, happy to see the results. Good stuff. It's just nice to see them competitive. Yeah, Imola, they were nowhere, were they? They were better last weekend. Certainly Leclerc getting that podium, second place. But yeah. Bold prediction, Lewis will get a podium tomorrow, says CPB. We'll do some predictions in a moment. I'm going to go and get a quick mouthful of warm squash. And then I'll run through the order. Then we'll do questions and predictions. I'll be back with you in 10 seconds. If I'm any longer than that, don't sue me. These lights are boiling me to death again. I'm just checking the time there for the timestamp. What's it? 33. There we go. Oscar Piastri is on pole position for the 2025 Spanish Grand Prix, finishing 0.2 of a second clear of teammate Lando Norris. The Flexi Rules technical directive, or Flexi Wings technical directive, has really changed things for McLaren, as you can see. No, was never going to, didn't, as expected. There we go. Max Verstappen in third place, only a 10th off Norris, to be fair, or just under a 10th off, so good luck from him. To get himself up there. George Russell, a point that I missed when I initially went through all of this earlier in the stream, 111.848, matched Max Verstappen, but he was on a used set of tyres, was Russell. So actually, that lap to match Max Verstappen, who was on a new set, is more impressive than I realised. So well done to George Russell. Lewis Hamilton, great lap. Surprising us all at the end, apart from Ruby, of course, for P5 on a 1:12.045, half a second off the pole time, but actually only a couple of tenths behind George Russell. Kimi Antonelli, just over half a tenth further back in 6th place. Good lap from him towards the end of the session there, so good stuff. Charles Leclerc only got the one run in today, was 200ths off Antonelli. Sorry, I should rephrase that. Only got one Q3 run in today, was 200ths off Kimi Antonelli, but for some reason was still in the garage at the end of that session, so not sure what went on there. I will have a look, unless he did get out again and I missed it. If he did, then I apologise, but I'm going with this live, and I'm trying to keep it with everything as we go. But Pierre Gasly, 8th place, great lap as well for Pierre, only 700ths off Leclerc, with Isaac Hadjar again doing a fantastic job in that Racing Bulls car. Half a tenth off Pierre Gasly in 9th place. And Fernando Alonso did go 5th briefly. Another one who surprised us all. Great lap, waving to the crowd. Very happy over the radio. Did end up P10, but only 300ths off Isaac Hadjar. Alex Albon was knocked out in Q2, the highest Williams today, in 11th place. Gabriel Bortoleto, I believe his best result of the season, Pascal said in chat earlier, so it must be true because Pascal would know. 1:12.7, fantastic performance from him in that car. Updates clearly working for Sauber at the moment. Liam Lawson, 13th for him. Not great, but not a million miles away from his teammate in the end in the session previous to the, obviously, the Q3 session. Lance Stroll, 1:13.0. He's off to see the stewards for an infringement regarding his driver weighing. So they've said failing to follow race director instructions, driver weighing. So hopefully nothing too bad there for Stroll, but if he hasn't been to be weighed and he's been back to the garage, that might be a technical infringement, which could be disqualification. They are that strict on those things, as you'll know, so we'll see what happens. Ollie Bearman, 15th place in the Haas, 13.3, with Nico Hulkenberg down in 16th, out qualified by Bortoleto, 13.1 for him. He was knocked out in Q1. Ocon out in Q1 as well, with Sainz, probably the biggest surprise, as Nico said in chat before, knocked out in Q1, although maybe not a huge surprise given where he has been at times this season. Franco Colapinto had an issue at the end of the pit lane. Not sure what happened there. We'll find out in the coming hours, I'm sure. 1:13.3 for him in 19th. And Yuki Tsunoda either just hasn't got the pace in the car or possibly had a bit of floor damage, or both. He's 20th on a 13.385. Real shame there for Yuki Tsunoda. Any questions, chat? If you've got any questions, we will run through them. I'll tell you what we'll do quickly, just because I'm so... I just love you all so much. I'll go and check it now. See if there's anything on the old Twitex on Yuki Tsunoda, and see if anything's been said by... So a disappointing end to Yuki's qualified, but there will be fresh opportunities tomorrow, is what Red Bull have said in their little review at the end there, but I'm not sure if maybe there'll be something here on Tsunoda having some sort of... It's kind of difficult on Twitter because everyone is kind of tweeting at the same time, which is understandable given that's kind of their job. But I'm not sure. Let's do a Tsunoda search. I don't know if I dare do a Tsunoda search because it's just toxic as hell on this bloody platform, but that's quite a funny meme actually. But anyway, I can't see anything at the moment. So if you know anything in chat, or you've read anything or heard anything, do let me know. But the official live from Red Bull, on at least on social, seems to be just a rough old time of it out there. So Yuki's qualifying as a foot. Yeah, nothing on there just yet. So I'll keep it. See if the press release comes through before we end. It doesn't usually. We'll see how we go. We'll keep going for another 15 minutes or so. But yeah, frustrating for Yuki. But that's yeah. We had a look. 2016 all over again, says Corn, question mark. Oh, imagine that at turn 3 tomorrow. Zach Brown. Oh dear, he would not be happy, would he? He would not be good at all. Well, I think somebody asked me this the other day, Nick. One question: when will Max get promoted to Racing Bulls? Soon, I'd imagine. Yeah. I do wonder if Yuki Tsunoda, he wants to be in that main team long term, I imagine, but I wonder if he has sort of sat at home and gone, God, I wish I was still in that Racing Bulls car. I imagine he has, to be fair. So it's just been crazy. And then the thing is as well, kind of touched on this at the start of the stream when we were talking about Fred Vasseur, didn't I? It's without Verstappen, we're a Red Bull. I look at the pecking order at the moment, and I often say this, it's McLaren, and then behind you've got Mercedes, Ferrari, and Verstappen in some order. It's not Red Bull, it is Verstappen, isn't it? So if you take him out of that car, they are surely fourth fastest team at best. But I think there's an argument to say that on most weekends they're going to be behind at least Williams, possibly even Alpine and Racing Bulls. I mean, how do you feel? Would you say without Max Verstappen, you're looking at 6th, 7th best team on the grid with that car? That's got to be a terrifying thought for Christian Horner and Helmut Marko and co, with all these rumours about Max Verstappen's future, which could be settled in the coming weeks, by the way. But yeah, no more on that. I'll say no more. But yeah, no, that's a terrifying thought, isn't it, for them? So yeah, I don't know. Verstappen is just the difference. He's just the difference. So yeah. Curious says they wouldn't be behind Alpine. Let's be real. Well, I mean, Gasly was 8th today. So if you remove Verstappen and Yuki's 20th, I mean, they're 10th, aren't they? But you know what I mean? You could throw Alpine in there some weekends, not every weekend. So, yeah. Oh, dear. He's definitely carrying the team. You're right, Ravi. He's absolutely carrying the team. How much of it is Max over driving the car? How much of it is the car being 100% targeted towards his very specific driving style? This is going to be such a really boring answer, Fud, and I'm so sorry to sound like I've just hopped straight on the fence. It's probably both. He's probably driving the life out of that thing, but also it's more geared towards his driving style, either deliberately or inadvertently. Probably deliberately, which is understandable when you've got a talent like Max Verstappen, by the way. That's not a criticism. Put the two together and it's clicking for him, whereas Tsunoda and co, it's not. So it's a bit of a dull answer to say both, but I think it probably is both. Plus, he is, and I think it's a phrase that's thrown around too much in sport, but I think it's appropriate for Verstappen. He is a generational talent, isn't he? So, you know, there you go. Bit of both. But it's the thing is as well, again, it's boring, but actually in F1, most of the time it's never just one thing, is it? It's a multitude of things. Multifaceted is my phrase of the week, by the way. I don't know where it came from or why it started. It just did. Ever since Monday, weirdly, I've been using multifaceted a lot. Clearly not properly. So it's basically a year-old Adrian Newey car. Adrian Newey does not favour drivers with his designs, says Nick. That's why the best drivers want to drive for Adrian Newey. Or he wants the best drivers, sorry, because he knows they'll adapt to his car. So, yeah. Frank says, with a laughing emoji and all the sarcasm in the world, I guess the new front wing regs didn't affect McLaren. I know, it's such a surprise, isn't it? Such a surprise. I said it during us running through it there, you know. Everyone said McLaren and Mercedes would fall off, or the experts were saying McLaren and Mercedes would fall off, and Red Bull and Ferrari, they'd have an advantage, or they gain on them. And then you look at it and actually they haven't. But again, Verstappen was only 900ths off Lando Norris. But again, Max Verstappen has kind of been in the mix all season anyway, hasn't he? So that means nothing. So I'm not surprised at all. I said it last weekend. I've been saying it. I said it in the winter as well, during testing streams when all this has been talked about then. So many times we get technical directives and everyone bigs them up as this big game changer and then nothing happens. Remember party modes. I always go back to party modes. Everyone I spoke to, anybody in the chat was saying, that's it now. Mercedes advantage is gone. First weekend they were fully introduced, which I think was Monza. Hamilton on pole, wasn't he? No issues there. Yeah, okay, there was the chaos in the race and the bad decision to pit under the closed pit lane, which gave Gasly, Sainz and Stroll, was it, the podium in the end? But, you know, it always happens. Technical directives don't always make it, you know, they don't tend to make the difference people think they will. And I think sometimes people just want something to talk about when there isn't anything to talk about. So, and these wings will always flex. You'll never stop flexing in Formula One. You can't. So, first front row lockout in Spain since 1998 for McLaren there. What happened at the 1998 Spanish Grand Prix? I believe 99 was the one where Michael Schumacher got stuck behind a BAR for ages. It was a comfortable... Wow. Oh, first of all, look at those names. Hakkinen, Coulthard, Schumacher, Wirtz, Barrichello. Oh, and those teams as well. Oh, take me back. Take me back. Rose-tinted spectacles, I don't care. Mika Hakkinen, 9.4 seconds ago, David Coulthard. Michael Schumacher, 47 seconds behind. So if that's their first front row lockout since Spain and the race goes the same way, they could be sitting pretty, I guess, is what I'm trying to say there. Also, Benetton as well, a name that I really missed from the grid. So, yeah. Love it. They're just showing a replay of Nico Rosberg's crash with Lewis Hamilton. So so they're ready for that one. let's do some predictions for tomorrow then. Who have you got for the win? I said Verstappen on Thursday, which is one I'll be scored on in the preview predictions. You've got to say, I'm going to go Piastri for the win. Do you know what? Actually, I'll be really, really dull. I'm going to go Piastri for the win, Norris second, a comfortable McLaren 1-2. And it'll probably be Verstappen or Russell. Probably Verstappen. But do you know what? Because Ruby's here, and because it'll probably make a day, I'll go with Hamilton for a podium as well. There you go. Hamilton P3. I probably will be Verstappen or Russell because, of course, Ferrari will find a way to throw away the podium if they can. But yeah, there you go. Probably a bold take there. Probably. Yeah, that's my top three. A bit boring, I know, with the McLarens, but I think they could disappear with that one. They look pretty mighty, and I think if they do win this I'm getting way ahead of ourselves here. I know history doesn't always repeat itself, but if they do the levels of Hakkinen and Coulthard in 98 and they are 50 seconds up the road from the rest of the field, pretty sure Zach Brown and Andrea Stella are going to be a little bit smirky at the end of the race tomorrow. Like, oh, so how was the technical directive? How's that gone for you? But there you go. Here are your predictions then. So, Greg says Piastri for the win. Jean Lacey, yes, Lizzie. What a name. Irvine and Frenson as well. Oh, take me back. Corn says Hadjar for the win. Is that for the win? Oh, I'd have that, definitely. Nick says Piastri, Norris and Russell top three. Piastri, Norris and Verstappen for Michael. Moray, goodness me, says Piastri, Verstappen, Hamilton, Russell, Hadjar, Alonso, Albon, Bortoleto, Bearman. There you go. Bortoleto for points would be cool. Would be very, very cool. F1 Hub to the World says McLaren still using flexi wings. I saw it live on board. The wings still flexing. What a fake technical directive. FIA is stupid. Wings will always flex in F1. They have to flex. If they don't flex, they'll snap. It's about reducing the level of flexing. So every single car you go on board with, their front wings will still flex. It will happen. It's just instead of it being up to 15 millimeters, it's 10 millimeters. So the technical directive is doing the job it's supposed to do, which is restricting how much it can flex. But you can't stop F1 wings from flexing, otherwise they will just snap because of the loads that are put on them. So it's just important to remember that. I know it's very frustrating if you're not, if you're expecting a big shake-up this weekend, it's not come. There'll be a lot of frustration from people. I get that, but these wings always flex. They have to flex. It's about how much they flex. That's what the technical directive is about. So, and that's good for me. I know nothing about the technical side of it. There's probably a much deeper explanation, but that's the simplest way I could put it without getting out rulers and tape measures and all of that business. So, Louis says Norris, Piastri, and Verstappen with a controversial McLaren pit stop. Says Louis. Oh, so undercut again then, yeah. Ruby says Hamilton for the win. Lando will choke. Piastri stop will be slow, and Verstappen will get a penalty. Russell will get rain only on his car. So interesting. A couple of you there saying that you're expecting some pit stop shenanigans tomorrow from from McLaren. There you go. Red Raven says, let's go unreasonable. Says Hamilton, Verstappen and Russell for a top three. What a race we've got there. Because the McLarens make it a Merc 16 and Verstappen takes damage from it with Hamilton being able to outgun Russell. That'd be a good fight, wouldn't it? Hamilton versus Russell, ex-teammates at the front. Pascal says Piastri, Norris, Hamilton and Bortoleto will score first points. Hope so tomorrow. That'd be great for you, Pascal. I should be thrilled with that one. Paula says Max, Alonso and Lawson. Driver of the day, Hulkenberg. I want to see whatever race Paula is predicting there. Max P3 to win, Alonso P10 to second, Lawson P13 to third. That would be one hell of a race. So, Paula, you're in charge of the race tomorrow. I hope it's a good one. CPB says Max, Charles, Lewis, McLaren will take each other out. Frank has gone with Max Verstappen. Wouldn't be better in a Ferrari also. Having a different, I'm reading two things there. That's I read two people's comments at once there, so that's to Frank. Anyone better than that Ferrari. Ferrari can have the fastest car and a team will still put you eighth somehow. So no, I thought it was a prediction. Sorry. Red Raven says Hamilton, Russell, Verstappen. Swapping them around there. Piastri in no particular order, says Craig. Just read the Stroll report from the FIA. If he doesn't get kicked out of quali, starts 20th, I'd be surprised. I'll go check that in a minute. Thank you very much, Fud. Alonso still won't get points, says Cord. Probably not. I've already jinxed that for the rest of the season for him. And one more. Oscar, Piastri, Norris, and Russell for Kaori. I think that's saying there. So let's have a look at what the FIA said about Stroll. That's the weather short. I'll tell you what, we're here very quickly. Weather for tomorrow. No, I don't want to update the app, but thank you anyway. FIA, I appreciate. Could you just load the weather? Wow, slower than their stewards. Anyway, let's have a look at the forecast for tomorrow. Weather, we're here. Kickoff's at 2, isn't it? So chance of rain 0%. However, it was a 0% chance when I checked this morning for rain today, and those clouds look pretty ominous at the end, so you never know in Spain. It might do. Let's have a look at so here's the document that Fudd was talking about. Let's have a read of this one for you all. I hate the way I've got my stuff opens here, then it moves to there, then it goes over there, and I have no idea where anything is anymore. So, after the qualifying session, the driver Lance Stroll, car number 18, that's his full name, did not follow the post-qualifying driver weigh-in procedure as laid out in the race director's event notes, which is item 13. Firstly, the driver stayed 5 minutes in the team's garage. Yeah, he's done. 5 minutes in the team's garage before proceeding to the scales. And secondly, he did not proceed through the pit lane. I am referring this matter to the stewards for their consideration. That will Fudd. Yeah, you're right. That'll be a slam dunk disqualification from the session, because most of you will know this, but if you're new to F1, car and driver weight is taken together and they have to be at a certain weight for them to be declared legal. If the driver hasn't then been weighed straight after the session, has gone back to the garage, they could have had weights taken out their pocket or something else put on, or they could have done all sorts. So also that it's not a fair weighing process basically if they go back to the garage and do whatever. So it's like if a car comes in for a random weight check during a session, but then it doesn't stop and go straight to the garage and then comes back. As soon as the team touches that car, they're going to get disqualified for the most part because they don't know what you've done to tamper with it. So Lance Stroll will be disqualified from that one for sure. I'm sure it's not going to ruin his day. Well, 14th in Spain, down to 20th is going to hurt, isn't it? But that's 100% a disqualification. I'd be amazed if it isn't, unless there is some incredible mitigating circumstance we've never heard of before. But yeah, that'll be disqualification. That's a slam dunk, I think. I can't even think. I'm trying to think of a mitigating circumstance that would allow for that, but there just isn't, is there? He goes back to the garage. You don't know what the team are going to do. They could do nothing. It's perfectly innocent, just a mistake. But the FIA can't know that for sure. So there you go. That does promote Yuki to 19th. So positives and all that. But get your questions. Let's do some questions. A bit of a Q&A for the next sort of 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll wrap up for today. I'll do some quick fire. If there's anything that you wanted to ask us a bit more in depth, save it for tomorrow, and we'll do it post-race or pre-race, depending. Assume I can start on time this time tomorrow, rather than having technical issues. But yeah, we'll see how we go, and we'll definitely do it tomorrow. But yeah. Paula says Lance Stroll has new teeth. Just watch his latest interviews. Oh, don't that, Paula. Because the problem is, can you remember, I don't know if you remember this, when Top Gear was saying that Richard Hammond had his teeth whitened and it was dyeing his hair. It's all I then stare at when I see him now. So, yeah. Figuratively or literally, ? Says Red Raven. Oh, I see you're answering Paula there. There you go. Not you this time. How old is Baxter? Baxter is... He's 3. He'll be 3 years old, yeah. So he's still a babby. 21 in dog years. Or in human years. Well, human years, dog years, yeah. So, yeah. He's 3, there we go. I don't know. I think you guys are arguing with yourself there, so there you go. Someone know why Leclerc didn't get a chance to try another flying lap? I don't understand, says Mehdi. I'll go and have a look through the group chat and see if there's anything on Leclerc. Again, they're putting the audio in, so I can't play that on stream, unfortunately. I don't know what the reason is for. Let's go and have a look on socials. Usually there's an answer on there for some things, but Ferrari don't tweet a lot. And when they do tweet, they get it wrong. What was his name yesterday on... Twitex. I can't find his name. Casper Lee. There you go. They tweeted yesterday. If you didn't see it, 5 laps completed for each car after flying visits to the garage at Charles Leclerc P6 at Casper Lee P12. How badly do you have to get Lewis Hamilton wrong as a name to type Casper Lee? It has since been deleted, but there we go. Charles won't resume the session. Currently sitting P4 is all they've said in there. Let's have a look at what some of the journalists are saying on Twitter. Nothing there. So I unfortunately don't tend to say an awful lot during the session. Do the teams other than just the facts, but I'd be surprised if I don't get something on Leclerc at some point soon. If I can't, I'll give it one more check, and if I can't find it, I'll have to leave it for today. Unfortunately, I'll let you know tomorrow. But keep an eye. Yeah, we had Collar Pinto stuck at the end of the pit lane. That was quite a moment, wasn't it? So, yeah, nothing on the socials at the moment, unfortunately, on Leclerc. I would assume some kind of technical issue, because unless he ran out of tyres, maybe. I don't know, like fresh tyres, and they didn't think there was any point going again, so that could be a thing. It'll be that or mechanical issue. I can't imagine, given that Lewis Hamilton then went out there and posted the time that he did to go P5, that they felt that was the only chance or the best that they could get out of that. So I'd say mechanical issue or a lack of new tyres would be my guess for Leclerc, but I don't know for sure. Sorry, I can't really say any more than that. I haven't got any more information. That's a shame. He was around for the testing streams, but he just kept coming in and opening the door and then laying at my feet. And we need a puppy cam. We need a dog cam, a Baxter cam at some point. I'll see if I can get one set up at some point. I'll do the silly season predictions tomorrow, CPB. In fact, I'll tell you what, and you can see me using my phone now, so you know I'll do it. I will take a shot of that. So that I know to come back to that at some point tomorrow, because I'm going to end the stream in a second. That's something that I like to waffle about for a while. As you'll know, CPB, I'm pretty sure I'll see you at some point tomorrow, so we can go through that one. I say see, I'm not going to turn up at your house or anything, that would be weird. I'm not that into it that I'd be visiting you to give your answers to your super chats or your questions, but there you go. Who's currently first and second on your list to join Aston Martin? We'll do that tomorrow as well, Red Raven. You were in the shot, so don't worry, we'll do that one. Aston Martin's a curious one for me, so one to have a ponder about. We'll definitely come back to them. And I think we'll probably leave it there. Just have a look if there's anything for tomorrow in terms of questions. Anything for tomorrow. I think it's going to be a good race. I think the grid's not as Noah's Ark as we sometimes see, which is good. Piastri and Norris the exception, of course, there. But, Verstappen's on his own. The Ferraris and the Mercedes are split. Gasly's up ahead of Colapinto comfortably, given his problems. Hadjar's clear of Lawson. Alonso's going to be well clear of Stroll. Albon and yes, that's a good point actually for this session. Came into this expecting a bit of a Noah's Ark grid, so 2 McLarens, Verstappen, 2 Mercedes, 2 Ferraris, for example. But actually, it's nicely split, so that might make the race a bit more interesting tomorrow. So hopefully, we'll enjoy it. But the good thing about Spain following Monaco is that I can say this: it'll definitely be better than last Sunday. So we'll be looking forward to that one. So we're going to leave it there for now. Yes, we will. So I will be back. I went to the end. Look at that. Perfect. I will be back tomorrow with the race watch-along from 1:30 p.m. BST. Hopefully on time, like I say. And Thomas will be with you on socials. I don't know if it's YouTube. I need to have a chat with you guys anyway, just generally about how you feel about things on the channel. Possibly tomorrow at some point, or a random live stream. We'll discuss it. But yeah, keep an eye on socials for an update from Thomas in the paddock. He's down there this weekend having the time of his life by the sounds of it. I'm not sure if that's true. I just felt to say it anyway. So, but yeah, I'll come back to your question tomorrow, CPB, and you as well, Red Raven. I promise. I've got his shot on my phone, so I won't forget it. I've taken a photo, is what I meant to say. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. It's been great. Please drop a like before you go. 117 likes. So thank you for getting us over 100. And don't forget to subscribe as well if you are new. Lots to come this weekend. Thank you to Wesley, to Braz, to Diego, and to Bervelin as well. Really appreciate the support, and thank you for joining our weird but wonderful little community here at the F1 Word. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.